Hello, everyone. Welcome to TalentEgg Talks. We'll be exploring the pathways to success at Chick-Fil-A and how you can grow your career with their leadership development program. My name is Mary Barrell, and I'm president of TalentEgg. Joining me from Chick-Fil-A is Caleb Nicholson and Olivia Efford. Caleb is the international talent partner at Chick-Fil-A Corporate. Caleb's team recruits top-tier talent for Chick-fil-A's development program, who might even become restaurant owner-operators serving their communities one day. Olivia is a leadership development program graduate who is poised to open her very own Chick-fil-A restaurant in Kitchener, Ontario very soon. We're so excited to have you both here with us today and to hear about Olivia's inspiring journey from student to business owner.
Hello.
Thanks, Mary. We're excited to be here.
Caleb, first let's start with, we know that Chick-fil-A is a well-known restaurant brand in the United States, but Chick-fil-A has only recently expanded into Canada. What would you like Canadian students and grads to know about Chick-fil-A?
Absolutely, Mary. I think the first thing I want them to know is Chick-fil-A is so excited to be growing in Canada. Mary, we opened our first location in Canada at Yonge and Bloor, right in downtown Toronto, in 2019, and then our second location in early 2020 in Yorkdale Mall. And we have our third location and our third operator with Olivia Efford here with us. And so we're so excited. And like we talked about, her third location in Ontario and Canada will be in Kitchener and be opening up later this year. What I want students and grads to know is that Chick-fil-A is committed to growing in Canada. And with that growth will come opportunity. Today, we're talking specifically about our leadership development program, but with our growth will come opportunities in restaurants, more franchise opportunities, and even potentially support staff in the future as well.
Well, that sounds very exciting, and I'm really glad to explore it with you. Can you give us a brief overview about the leadership development program at Chick-fil-A and its purpose and mission?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So the leadership development program at Chick-fil-A strives to be a premier development experience for next generation business leaders. It's a lot of words packed into a small statement. So I think premier is huge. They're dedicated to quality and a great experience. Next generation business leaders, so typically early in career talent who want to grow their skills. And then the last piece there is business leaders. So this idea of it is business focused and specifically with the restaurant business. So it's a 2.5 to 3 year program filled with both personal and professional growth. It offers real-time business experience with intentional development. It's challenging. It's challenging because we will use every aspect of business that you've learned thus far in your life and professional career, and we teach you even more, which is amazing. The restaurant industry is challenging because it utilizes all the facets of business from marketing, HR, supply chain, safety, quality control, IT, all while simultaneously growing your leadership skills and leadership capacity. I know for me, when I went through LDP, I wanted to be a different type of leader. And I absolutely can say that when I came on the other side of it, I led very differently. And I learned so much more about business and specifically the restaurant industry.
Olivia, maybe you could tell us about your incredible journey and how you go from being an LDP candidate to being an operator of your own restaurant.
Thanks, Mary. What a journey it has been. So I actually graduated from the University of Guelph and I moved down to the States and started working for Chick-fil-A full time there. And that's where I fell in love with Chick-fil-A. I grew into a leadership role at that local Chick-fil-A. And I realized that I wanted to start branching out and seeing what other opportunities Chick-fil-A could provide for me. And that's where I found out that I could go and train at Chick-fil-A's across the United States as stores started to open. At my first assignment, that is where I learned about the leadership development program when I was introduced to the grand opening supervisors there. And by getting to know them, I found out that it was a really great opportunity for me, not only professionally, but also personally. And so I started that journey in about 2018, and I was in that program for 2 years. But at about 18 months into the program, I put in my application to become an operator up in Canada, as I was really, really excited that Chick-fil-A was coming to Canada. And being from Canada, I was really excited to be a part of that expansion. Unfortunately, here I am.
Well, I think it's a fascinating journey. Did you always know that you wanted to own your own restaurant, or was that something that you discovered on your path?
Yeah, it was definitely something I discovered about myself after working at the Chick-fil-A. So my father is actually a Chick-fil-A owner-operator. And so I was able to see firsthand what it was like to not only own your own business, but ultimately own a Chick-fil-A. And I was just inspired by the influence and impact he had on the team and the community and our family as well. And I saw that Chick-fil-A was a really unique platform to be able to give back to the community and also just be a business owner with a company that just truly cares about people.
And what were the main takeaways of the program that prepared you to become an operator of your own restaurant?
Yeah, there were a lot of takeaways from my time in the program. So there were two main roles that I was in while in the leadership development program. One was the grand opening supervisor, where I traveled across America and Canada. And so I had assignments in New York City and Seattle and Toronto and Nashville. And with every different opportunity, I had to think strategically and get creative about how I could best serve that community and operator. And then on the interim manager side, where I ultimately ran a Chick-fil-A, I got to feel firsthand the pressure and responsibility it takes to run a Chick-fil-A. And so in both roles, I gained confidence in leading teams of anywhere from 5 people to 120 people. And I don't think I would have been able to feel that without being in the leadership development program.
For this next question, I'd like to hear from both of you. Why would you recommend students and new grads explore a career in the restaurant industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to jump in. I think there's so many different facets from being able to be a part of a community, helping to nourish people. I think the potential goes on and on for ways to be involved and why the career is so exciting. But I also think we have to look at data, right, Mary? And new grads and students want to look, hey, am I going to have are there going to be options for growth in this field? So I did a little bit of research, and in Canada alone, Mary, from 2010 to 2017, restaurant sales grew from $61 billion to $85 billion. It's a $24 billion increase over 7 years, and it continues to grow as consumers weave these restaurant experiences more regularly into their life and their routine. I mean, more than ever, you may eat breakfast at home, but then grab a coffee at Tim Hortons on your way to work, and then grab a snack on the way home. And so we're weaving these restaurant experiences into our life. And I think it's just going to continue to be a regular part of how we do life. So I think the opportunities for the restaurant industry are endless as we continue to see growth.
Yeah, so similar to Caleb, one thing that I love about the restaurant industry is how it's a multifaceted business, and where it takes a really a big team of unique individuals to come together to create this wonderful experience. And so if you're, trying to figure out maybe what you're passionate about, Chick-fil-A is a great platform for you to learn about what you might want to start investing in the future. So for instance, Chick-fil-A has numerous important roles like a marketing leader or an inventory leader, a finance director, HR administrative leader. And by being exposed to all those different roles, you can really learn about what you're passionate about and what you might want to pursue in the future.
Well, I know that Chick-fil-A feels very strongly about its culture. Can you tell our audience a little more about what it's like to work at Chick-fil-A?
I think I love to describe it as a family, right? These people truly care about you. And whether you are working in a restaurant with a local franchisee who's local to that community, whether you're in the LDP program with 150 other peers and incredible people developing you, or you're on the support center staff, all aspects of our culture we try to make an individual feel valued for who they are and ensure that they can figure out their unique assets and abilities to help grow the business on so many different levels. So I think the best thing that I can use to describe it is it feels like a family.
Yeah, so some words that come to mind when I think about the culture at Chick-fil-A is going to be excellence, hard work, integrity, stewardship, generosity. At Chick-fil-A, there's never a dull moment, but ultimately what gets us through the craziness and the excitement of Chick-fil-A is that teamwork that Caleb just spoke about. And we believe in collaboration, not only at work, but also going through life with one another, and it allows us to really have this special bond and to be able to serve the community in really remarkable ways.
Well, Olivia, you really described very well the program as you experienced it, as it evolved for you. But I'd like to look in more detail a little bit about what the stages of career progression a young candidate can look forward to at Chick-Fil-A, because we know young people are interested in having a career path. Maybe you could describe that for us.
No two journeys are going to look the same with your path with Chick-fil-A. And so I'll speak from my personal experience, and maybe Caleb can chime in if he wants to, but I actually started working at Chick-fil-A when I was 16 years old, just in the dining room and front counter and drive-through. And throughout the years, progressed into a training leader, and then a shift leader, and then a manager, where I took on more roles at the local level restaurant, whether it was scheduling or inventory leader or training leader. And from there, I went into a director level position where I was really responsible for the results of that restaurant. And after that, that's where I went to the certified trainer program with Chick-fil-A and started training at the Chick-fil-A's across the states, and then joined LDP, where there's numerous roles now within LDP, but there's the grand opening supervisor, the interim manager, and then there's also sometimes staff rotations as well.
I think what's central to all these careers is fully understanding the business, right? And so no matter what you're doing, if you're in marketing, if you're in sales, if you're in operations, if you're in supply chain, no matter what you're doing, do you understand what's at the core of the business? And so, like Olivia mentioned, she started really young and learned these different options of career progression. So my encouragement to individuals intrigued by a career at Chick-fil-A is just get started and jump in and start to learn our business. And there's going to be a lot of different opportunities that come out of that.
Well, let's look at what specifically, how one could have a successful career in this industry and with Chick-fil-A. Maybe you want to touch base on that, Caleb?
When you look at the industry as a whole, there's so many different options, right? Now, Chick-fil-A's set up, Mary, is we are a franchised brand with local owner-operators that live in their community. And so for us, a franchisee typically has to live very, very close to their restaurant, and they're a part of that local community, and they can only own restaurants in that local community. And so if an individual's intrigued about growing with Chick-fil-A, a great way to get started, like Olivia has talked about, is engage in a local Chick-fil-A that you know and start your path in that direction. And then from there, you're going to learn about opportunities with the corporate side of things, as well as with potential future franchise opportunities. When you look at the industry as a whole, so say an individual comes to the LDP program because they're intrigued to be in the restaurant industry. We believe the program really prepares individuals to go anywhere in the industry, because we teach leadership skills and all the aspects of the restaurant. And so many other brands have fantastic opportunities as well if you think about the makeup of how their business is structured. So it could be regional opportunities, general manager opportunities, or even other franchise opportunities with other brands. So I think if someone's looking at the restaurant industry in general, getting started and just starting to plug in is a great way to start to learn about where you could fit into that industry.
When I reflect on my time in LDP, some stuff that was really important for me is to realize, like, this industry is tough. It's gonna be tough, and it's really important to be able to adapt and overcome adversity. And it's a really important quality in being successful in this industry. And just having that growth mindset. I mean, the restaurant industry is evolving constantly. I mean, I look, especially during the pandemic right now, and how we've had to evolve and adapt to make sure we're serving our guests, but also making sure everybody feels even more safe than they did before. I think that those are a couple things that come to mind.
What supports are in place for students to grow in the leadership development program?
When you join the LDP program, you have a cohort coach, and that cohort coach is really there to encourage you and to challenge you. We believe in care for the individual, but we also believe with care comes the ability to challenge to help grow the individual, to see some things about themselves and their leadership style that maybe they hadn't known before. So that cohort coach is really there to be on that entire journey, that entire 2.5 to 3 year journey with you to help you grow your skills and get to where you want to go. In addition, we have assignment coaches. So every time you go to a different assignment, a grand opening or an interim manager opportunity like Olivia spoke about, you'll have an assignment coach that's there to help you to think about that specific assignment and to just make sure that you're meeting the specific performance goals for those areas. So 2 great ways to get feedback and to grow yourself in that program through those individuals. But I think actually the biggest part as far as support and growth in the LDP program, Mary, is your peers. It's about 150 people. These people are here to help you. You're typically never on an assignment alone. Sometimes you are, but typically there's 1 or 2 other individuals there that are tasked with doing a similar role to you. And you get to learn from each other. You get to challenge each other. You get to grow with each other. And ultimately, these are the people that you form lifelong friendships with because you're in the trenches and you're working hard to help solve these real life business problems together.
Fantastic. What advice would you give potential applicants about joining the program?
Yeah, so the advice that I would give to a potential applicant is, truly ask yourself, are you passionate about the restaurant industry? What is it about the restaurant industry that excites you? And if you're still trying to figure that out, that's okay. I would suggest you probably get some experience at the local level first. But if you know that you are passionate about it, go for it. An opportunity like this does not present itself very often. And after reflecting on my 2 years, I would tell somebody to just be prepared to invest in yourself as well as others over the next 2 years. It's going to be tough. Curveballs are going to be thrown at you, but at the end of it, it's going to be so rewarding. And really at the end, you're going to have this great holistic view of the restaurant industry, and it's going to make you a stronger business leader because of it.
Fantastic. Caleb, any thoughts?
Oh man, so great, Olivia. Yeah, completely agree with you. And I think number 1, like Olivia said, are you interested in the restaurant industry? So that's the first really, really big one. I think I mentioned earlier, Mary, are you ready to be different? Right? So I said when I started my journey, I wanted to be a different leader and I knew this experience would change me. So are you ready to learn some new skills and forget some old skills that you maybe want to grow in? I think also in addition, think about leadership. I think leadership can be really easily cast in leading other people, which is important. So think about gaining leadership skills or experiences while you're in school or in the roles that you're in right now prior to applying to LDP, because we really do value leadership, but not only leadership of people, Mary, leadership of yourself. So are you being intentional with what you want to do? And are you starting to put together a plan to get to where you want to go? And does LDP fit with that plan, with kind of what you're setting up for yourself and leading yourself?
That's such good advice. I just wanted to finally end on the leadership development program is certainly one way, and a very exciting way, to have a successful career with Chick-Fil-A. But are there other opportunities too?
There are so many opportunities. I know we touched on some of the different roles that every local Chick-fil-A has, but whether it's marketing or finance or training or food safety or running a kitchen, there are so many exciting opportunities at a local level within a Chick-fil-A. And so I suggest you go out and meet with the local owner operator and explain what you're passionate about and see if there's a role that would fit in really well with your personality and what you hope to achieve.
Like Olivia, she's a franchise owner. More franchise opportunities are going to be coming. So if you have had a desire to own a business and then also own a restaurant, think about how you could potentially join Chick-fil-A in a franchise opportunity way, and you can find more about that on the website. And in addition, if you like to be behind the scenes, a little bit more like me, if you like to serve in a support capacity, there could be future support roles coming to Canada as well. I don't have any information on that right now, but like I said, we're growing in Canada, we're excited to grow there, and we're committed to growing there. So of course, when a business grows, opportunities are going to be there. And so I would say just stay engaged, meet your local owner operator as new Chick-fil-A's open up all over Ontario and parts of Canada in the future. And you never know what opportunities could come available.
Well, it's certainly wonderful to learn about how aspiring entrepreneurs can become business owners with Chick-fil-A and all the other opportunities that you have. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Caleb and Olivia, do you have any final thoughts for students and new grads?
If you like Olivia said, if you're intrigued, take the leap. Go meet with a local owner operator, apply to opportunities, and start to learn about what the brand is doing and how there's growth opportunities and potential. And especially if you're in the Kitchener area, right, Olivia?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I know the operators up here are always excited to hear when somebody's passionate about growing with Chick-fil-A. So definitely go and visit one of the Chick-fil-A's up in Canada and learn more about the business that way.
Well, it's been wonderful having you both, and thank you to our audience for also joining us today. You can learn more about Chick-fil-A and their opportunities for students and grads on TalentEgg.ca. This video will be available on TalentEgg's YouTube channel and on our social media, so don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more TalentEgg Talks. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.